In this lesson I will do some repetition so you'll be more secure in what you have learned so far. So I thought that this simple symbol could be a good starting point. So just let's start with a new material. So I take this away so we have everything from the beginning. And I add a new one, so we have that in here, and I remove the principal because that is not needed. And we start with the texture coordinate. So Shift A, input the texture coordinate. And we have now learned how to do a circle, so we use length. So just drag out the UV and write length. And you can now either use distance, as I showed you, or put in the subtract and multiply. And I do the subtract and multiply combined with length. So pressing Shift A, converter, vector math, put that into the UV, change to subtract, change it to 0.5, 0.5, copy it using Shift D, change to multiply and put this to 2. And then you have, if you put the length into surface, a circle here. Now what I did was a circle with, can just check how it looked. It looked like this, so it was a white circle and a white line and it was black. So we should do a white circle. Okay. So let's go back to our material we're working on. And to get a nice cut between white and black, then I think that less than and greater than would be good to use. So we can use like that, put in a less than, so Shift A, converter, math, and we change it to a less than. And if it's 0.5, then it's half the length here. So we just increase it until it reaches 1, and then we have this fine circle here. Now we need black in the middle, and it would be just to reverse this, but with a lesser number. So Shift D, put that down, greater than, and if I just put that in and put that into the surface here, you can see it's now black. If I now go down a bit, you can see the black is now shrinking. So by combining all that white we have here with the black here, and just keeping, like, we can multiply those two, just keeping what is 1 times 1. That is 1, the rest will be 0. So just put in a multiply, so Shift D, and multiply that one, and you have a nice circle. So that is all there is to it, to make one little circle. If you want to make many circles with spaces between and so on, that you like 4 circles inside each other and so on, then there are better ways to do it. But if you just want one circle, then you can use this one. So a simple less than, a simple greater than, and you can now control everything, so what size you would like to have, and yeah, to make the circle as you want to, bigger or smaller, whatever. So I think we can just keep it to something like 1 and 0.8. And now we would like to have that line in the middle, and the easiest way is to use this as a center point, and then like using the mirror technique that I discussed earlier, so we get the same amount on this direction as we get on this direction, and we get the same as in this direction and in that direction. And that we do with a simple absolute after you multiply. So if I just press Shift D for copy and change this to an absolute, then if I now drag this in here and now separate this so it's easier to see in the direction of X and Y, we can see what happens. So drag out and just run separate, and you will see the separate X, Y, Z. So put that in here. And if I now take the X into the surface, you can see we get a line here. And if I take the Y into the surface, we get a line here. So we can use the same technique that we used up here. Just put, if it's lesser, because it's black here, if it's lesser than a certain value, then that is true and that is what will be kept. So if we have like, we cut it up here and down here, then it's rather small value. So we can just take the top here, less than, and press Shift D to copy it and put it in here. And we decrease the value, and now when we decrease the value, you see that we now get a small line here. And we can do the same with the other direction, this direction as well. So with X here, we can just let it be a little bit bigger than we used here, and we will get a rectangular that is white. So just take a copy again, Shift D, put it in, and now you can increase the value to something like this. And we will now keep it by using multiply here as well. So Shift D for one of those nodes, put that in, and put in a multiply, and you have that line in the middle. So now it's all is to mask out from this one for this one. So just keeping like the maximum value from both of these, and you will get exactly the same symbol as I showed you in the beginning of the tutorial. So we can take one of these, just Shift D to copy, and put in both of these and just change it to maximum, and you have this symbol.